Scandalous new couple. The other, Charles and Diana.
One night we went to bed, you know, I was a nursery nurse and married to a major in the British Army. The next day, it seemed, we woke up and we were the people who cheated the biggest game show in history out of £1 million.
Beyond that, Lady Macbeth.
Well, exactly, and you know, with my thick accomplice, you know, completely surreal situation for us to be in.
Panic when the coffer chokes and doesn't know the answer. When Primetime Thursday, Who Wants to Steal $1 Million continues.
You just won $1 million!
Game show scandals are not new.
From Television City in Hollywood!
Perhaps one of the most interesting didn't involve cheating at all.
Now, Michael, what do you do for a living?
Oh, I drive an ice cream truck in the summer. I hope to win enough money here not to have to do that
Do you
this
have it
summer.
with you today?
The show is called Press Your Luck. The year, 1984, and Michael Larson was about to win more in one day than anyone ever had before. And how he did it will amaze you.
Here we go! $4,000 on a spin. Stop at a whammy.
Come on, big bucks! Come on, stop!
Stop at a whammy.
While his co-contestants would keep hitting what's called the whammy. Hit the whammy, and you lose everything you've won to that point.
Wow.
Larson, it seemed, couldn't lose.
Stop! Stop at $4,000 on a spin.
Watch as over and over again, Larson hits the button to stop the light board, often on the same square, over and over and over.
Michael, I've never seen anyone press their luck like you are, and you are pressing your luck.
But luck had nothing to do with it. Turns out, Larson had studied the program at home for months. He figured out the light board wasn't random as you might think. There were patterns that showed him when it was safe to hit the button. One of the patterns, after the number 2 square would flash, next would be the number 12, 1, 9, and then the number 4 square, which was always big money. So Larson kept following the patterns and kept winning, amazing the other contestants and the show's producers, who would soon figure out what Larson had done. It was quite the scandal, but it wasn't cheating. Larson had beat the board and got to keep the money.
And returning with $55,500 from Forest Hills, New York, Mr. Herbert Stemple.
Of course, the biggest scandal of them all did involve cheating. It was the 1950s game show 21 and contestant Herb Stemple.
I'll stop. Then you win.
Stemple answered questions correctly for 6 weeks straight, winning almost a staggering $70,000.
Larkin? Deacon John Larkin?
That's correct for 11 points.
The movie quiz show in 1994 showed how it was really a rating scam. The audience loved a winner, so the show's producers gave Stemple the answers. Until ratings started to sag, and they ordered him to take a dive.
Look, you lose when I tell you to lose.
Did I take the third part last?
In favor of a far more telegenic contestant, who they also fed the answers to. His name, Charles Van Doren.
Did he behead Catherine Howard? He did. You got 18 points.
Van Doren won over $129,000. The show became a blockbuster hit until Herb Stemple blew the whistle about how he got the answers in advance and was even told how to act for dramatic effect.
Rather than wiping, you pat. Also, the heavy breathing and the sighing is accomplished, such as...
Van Doren also confessed.
I made a very, very big mistake.
Because of that, Congress made rigging game shows illegal.
He's quite well known.
Which brings us back to today's millionaire scandal. We wondered, what did Regis Philbin, the original U.S. host of the show, think about this mess?
I'm amazed that this was so blatant, or at least it seems to be. The coughing. I mean, who wouldn't detect that? What's wrong with them?
we'll hear what the so-called coughing co-conspirators have to say about it. When Primetime Thursday, the millionaire scandal continues after this from our ABC stations.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? It was America's monster hit.
You got it for $250,000.
But the American version was in fact patterned exactly on the original Millionaire, the one in England. And this is the most infamous episode ever of the show.
Charles, give me that check. £500,000. You no longer have that. You just won $1 million!
Major Charles Ingram, the least likely person ever to triumph at the game. Giddy, a bit goofy, and muddled.
I'm not sure. However. Charles, you haven't been sure since question number 2. He's got as much chance of getting the 32,000, you know, as going to the moon in a rocket.
Sitting behind him, a wife who would be called Lady Macbeth, the mastermind. She once tried to win $1 million herself.
You're still on £32,000. Oh!
One of her brothers had also tried out on the show, but this time it was the slightly loopy Major who was left to carry on the family tradition. And suddenly,